Welcome to the LivBtr podcast. I'm Erica Spiegelman, addiction and wellness specialist and author, and along with me, I have my co-host, Jay Siano, a New York-based serial entrepreneur, business scaling expert, and wellness aficionado. We are here to inspire, encourage growth, and most importantly, to live better. Welcome to the LivBtr podcast. Today we have on Dr. Jonathan Leary. He is the founder and CEO of Remedy Place, the world's first social wellness club dedicated to holistically bringing their guests back into balance. Welcome to the show, Jonathan. We're so excited to have you. I just wanted to ask, how you came up with this. What was the inspiration? And tell us a little bit about your journey to Remedy Place.
You know, I always wanted to be a doctor. My mom and my sister both worked in the hospital setting. As anyone else that goes through pre-med, you have to get as many volunteer hours, shadowing hours. I just spent a lot of time in hospitals and clinics to a point where up until my junior year, when I was doing my MCATs, and I was like, do I actually want to do this? And it kind of scared me because, the work environment and the lifestyle of these doctors was, unhealthy in that. And being in a hospital is not pleasurable, and everyone's overworked, and, they don't see their family, they don't sleep, and their health is like a big, consequence. And
contradiction too, right? One would think. Yeah.
So crazy. And then I was like, I'm going to change paths. I won't go into that whole long story, but I ended up going to school to be a chiropractor. And when I started my doctorate program, I started working on my business plan. Because when I originally started, I was like, I don't know what a chiropractor does. I just really want the degree, because in the state of California, a chiropractor can treat and diagnose anything. So they're actually qualified as a primary care physician. They just can't prescribe meds or puncture the skin. So it's perfect. My background was, I was a trainer, I was a nutritionist. So I was like, I'll just figure out a way and how I want to treat people. And that's when I started working on the business plan. So it was every Sunday chipping away on how do I make this different? And then when I graduated 4 years later, I went to the bank, had this 158-page business plan, knew nothing about business. I was just Googling everything I thought it would take to get a loan. And
what year was this, Jonathan, just for the community?
Yeah. This was at the end of 2015, I believe. Yeah, end of 2015. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get this loan. And I went up with this big presentation, 158 pages. And I was like, all right, I'm ready. And the woman kind of laughed at me. She's like, sir, you have no money and you have all the student loan debt. How are we supposed to give you a loan? And I'm like, that's why I need a loan,
Exactly.
I quickly realized it's not how it works.
Another system that doesn't really work. Yeah.
It's like you need money to get money. So I pivoted and opened up a concierge practice, not because it was fancy, but because it was the lowest cost. Because I couldn't even get a loan to get a small office. And the practice it started as just surgery prevention and chronic pain rehabilitation. And I blended functional medicine, chiropractic, physiotherapy, and Chinese medicine all in one.
Yeah.
Then I quickly realized, I'm like, why am I just working with pro athletes when they're the healthiest bodies in the world, but everyone else is so sick and in a lot more pain? So I opened it up to people in the music and film industry, because I was in LA, in corporate level executives. And my practice just really took off. After 3 months in practice, I had a wait list. And for 5 years, I got to just travel the world with cool people and cool families and save them from surgery. But in the meantime, I was working on the business plan. I was using all the clinical evidence and the market research that I gathered throughout my practice after treating patients and listening to patients, and really just understanding what works, what doesn't work, what do they need, what do they not need, what are the common things I see across all of them, what are they willing to compromise, what are they not willing to compromise. And I just learned so much. And the business plan drastically changed substantially over those years, but that's why it was now it's over 11 years of constant data and research that I've done personally, instead of just reading, this is a fancy piece of equipment, or this might do this, or worrying about who sponsored or funded this research article. It's everything at Remedy is there because I know it works, and there's a reason, because I was trying to solve an issue that I saw.
So real quickly, just to ask a few questions around what you just said. So your initial business plan was not necessarily Remedy Place.
No, the original business plan was. So
it was, but
that was my original practice idea.
Got it. But
I
it's
thought it was going to be
interesting.
like easy.
We couldn't get
Yeah,
it.
but everything happens for a reason where, once you had your concierge practice, I'm sure that the plan you already said changed drastically. So it's almost like being able to live somewhere before you renovate because you actually know how you're going to use the space.
Yeah, it was mostly like the social side, like the social wellness club. And I originally thought I thought it was just a beautiful space and a cool environment. But then it was like, oh, how do I actually use the environment to heal? And it's like, oh, how do I enhance people's health and social life at the same time versus just being like a spa and isolating yourself? And what's the human connection component? And how do I program what is there and how it's there and how we layer things? And then also just really establishing the brand and trying to like just solve more issues.
So how, like for, and I do a lot of work in the recovery space as a licensed counselor. And so for me, addiction recovery, community is so important. It's everything actually when you're recovering. And so I love this idea, obviously, for us to engage in our health in terms of like a social, emotional, communal energy around that. So what is Remedy Place in regards to that for people that don't know?
Yeah. So it's the world's first social wellness club. So it's not like a spa or a gym where you go, like in a spa, you go to isolate yourself in each room.
Yeah.
At Remedy, you can do that if you want, but we'd rather you do it with others. So we call it social self-care.
Oh, okay.
So like every single experience you can do with somebody else. And we try to push it as a substitute on how they would normally socialize. So where they would bring a date, where they would have a meeting, where they would meet their friends after work, where they'd have their birthday, where they'd host an event.
Cool.
We start really looking at everything that people do when they socialize and just create a healthier substitution.
That's amazing.
It's really, Erica, it's amazing. We all have the benefit of having many mutual friends, and I was able to tour the space with Jonathan and talk about what he's doing and where everything's going, which is so exciting. And I hope you'll share some of that stuff with our audience. But it's really just unlike anything. I travel the country looking for unique, exciting concepts that are in the healthy living space, and it's unlike anything that exists.
That's amazing.
It's even better when you step into the place.
I'm looking forward to going. Yeah, I want to check it out for sure. I was lucky enough to be treated by somebody that worked with you. And she did cupping for me for the first time. It was at an event that you guys did.
Amazing.
Yes. And at this Poosh event, because I write for Poosh, I was a little hesitant, but I've had so many back issues since I've had kids. I'm always picking up my kids and I'm bending over the wrong way. And I'm not, it's just like, you don't think about it in the moment unless you're totally mindful. So I was having like headaches from my back and all these things. And after this fire cupping, it was really incredible, really helped. And then I've been doing it. So it's like, it was a great experience. I just wanted to let you know that.
No, that's amazing. I mean, it's just crazy that we're not taught like, oh, like our bodies are machines and they need maintenance. And it's like, oh, it will get better. It'll get better. But it's really like, it doesn't just get better. The body's good at hiding or getting in antalgic positions, but then your biomechanics are off and that leads to other issues. But it's cool that the awareness around alternative medicine and even like you were nervous or like hesitant to do it. And then once you do it, you get it because you're like, oh, it actually worked. And it is crazy, but at least the awareness and a lot of stigmas behind alternative medicine is just changing because it is the one thing that actually works.
Yeah. Jonathan, just really quick, for people that are listening that maybe don't have access to a place like Remedy Place, or they, again, don't have the information or education around it and they hear these terms, cupping, this, that, what can we do to push people to be more proactive and to get over that hump of fear or hesitancy and really try and let's do this. Like, let's get preventative. We don't need to wait till we're in chronic pain, or we don't need to wait until we have a really big issue. What can we do to help people? What can you offer us?
I mean, start small. Here's the thing is like people try to do these drastic changes or like, I want to go on this diet. And then they look at these like short-term things, or they're looking for a quick fix or like a supplement that's going to fix all their problems. And it's not how it works. It's like a lot of work, and it's hard to take care of yourself, and you have to be diligent, and it's something that you do have to do forever. It's not something that you just go on a diet for a month or 2 months, 3 months. It's like you have to take the small stages at whatever capacity that you learn to love it, and you can naturally put it in your routine. And the foundational pillars of health are really simple. It's like even before going to your acupuncturist, learning how to eat. Like anything you put in your body is either going to fuel or fight disease. It's like that is medicine, and either you're violently attacking your body every day or you're healing your body. Then it's like movement. Like now with YouTube and social media, you don't have to have access to have a trainer that is like the best trainer and pay them $200-$300 an hour. You can go and just learn simple movements, because movement cures pain. If you're in pain, we just need to restore motion, proper motion in that area. And it's really cool now that the libraries are growing and the access to those, you don't have to pay. And I think just those simple learning how to move, that's going to solve a lot of issues. And I think even when you look at stress and learning how to meditate, and like breath work is one of the most powerful tools I think we can do as humans. And that costs nothing. I mean, there's so many apps that are free right now. There's so many YouTubes or instruction guidelines on Google. And I think if you learn how to eat at any budget, if you learn how to move for your body, and you learn how to meditate so you can be present and de-stress, or learn breathwork tricks, that's a majority of the problems. Like legitimately, no matter what you're dealing with, you have to make all those changes. Yeah. And like stress isn't going away. Our problems aren't going away. We have to be proactive, and we have to make change. And the sooner you realize that, the healthier you're going to be, but the better your life's going to be, because when you're healthier, everything's better. And a lot of times we just beat the shit out of our body and then expect like, why am I sad? Why is my mind all over the place? Why are my relationships good? Why am I not as successful? Why am I not happy? And it's like, you have to start with your health first, and then everything else will fall in line.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, very, very well said. And being the LivBtr podcast, where we're discovering in our own ways, and through the different guests that we have on the show, all different types of things that we can implement and try. And for myself, two of the things that you didn't mention that I've actually been very mindful of and have changed my life, in addition to everything that you said, are the removal of alcohol for me has been one of the biggest game changers, and sleep.
Sleep. I was going to say sleep too.
And sleep. Yeah.
And sleep.
And there's like the alcohol is a no-brainer. Minimizing or cutting it out, whatever you can do. Start small. Like if people are like, it's made part of my life, it's like switch to a healthier alcohol, drink a little bit less. And it's like a progression to learn to love it. And it's not a stressful thing. But then, sleep is a no-brainer. I mean, that's how your body recovers every night. And having and learning those tactics, they're simple. It's like, really, how do you improve your bedroom environment to just manipulate to maximize your sleep? And also cold showers. Like anyone that has access to water, like go dump cold water all over you in the morning and night. And that's going to make a drastic help too. Like that's what I'm saying. Like these things, they don't have to cost money, and they are the most impactful.
Yeah. And we have to, on that note, we have to talk about contrast therapy and hot and cold a little bit more, because it's all over your Instagram, and you guys are doing a ton of cold plunges, and Erica knows I'm obsessed.
Well, yesterday my mom has really bad arthritis, and she can't like walk. She has like bunions, things going on with her feet. So we did a cold plunge yesterday. She went, and I have a picture of her. She was halfway. I got into my knees, by the way, Jay.
This is an ongoing thing. We need to get Erica fully submerged at Remedy Place.
Erica, you go up to your knees like that. That's so much harder if your whole body is not in.
So much harder.
Really? Okay.
You just have to go.
I would not survive putting just my feet in. Like that's
Me
so
neither. That's
really okay. I don't know. My mom stood there for a long time, but literally when we left, and then we went in the jacuzzi. It was like a hot plunge too. But when she left, she could walk better. She's like, she is amazed. I already told her about someone else we interviewed, Jay and I, who, has a business around this. So I was like, don't worry, I'll hook you up, Mom, but it's great. It's great for people that have inflammation. She has really chronic inflammation.
And we all have inflammation. Inflammation is the root of every problem that we have. So it's like, if you're to say like every single person will benefit from this,
Yeah.
making sure there's no contraindications that you can't do it. But for those that can do it, it's a no-brainer. Like, and I hate the cold, and I'm obsessed with ice baths.
Really?
But now it doesn't even faze me. But it's like you
You
train
guys
the body.
recommend just going right in, like don't do slowly, like put your
That's
feet
the
in.
thing. It's like sometimes it's just like getting the instructions the first time, and that's why at Remedy you have a coach and you do it with others, because
Oh, okay,
you just have
cool.
to do it on your own, and you don't really know how to breathe or how to react, or like it stings. Like,
Yeah.
to actually know what's normal, what's not normal, to calm you down.
Yeah.
Because it's all mental. Like anyone can do it.
Yeah.
All
you
mental.
know? But if you first time's scary and it's not comfortable, but it gets comfortable. But I think it's like, I always compare, we call it adaptation training. It's the same as working out. It's like, you wouldn't go run a marathon if it was the first time running. You wouldn't go lift a heavy weight if you've never lifted a weight.
Right.
But an ice bath, we're not training muscles, we're training different systems in the body. And we need to train every system in our body. And all these thermoregulators in our circulatory system get trained by doing this. And then your body learns how to respond to an extreme or how to a stress more and more. And at the end of the day, it's like, for me, more than any of the benefits, it's people feel as though they don't control their mind or their body. And as mental health really continues to decline, ice baths are something that are extremely challenging, that you have to train your body and your mind that you're in control and that you're okay. And doing that on a regular basis, not only accomplishing the goal, but also teaching the body that you're in control. That's the most impactful.
Yeah.
That's so well said.
You guys, so well put. You're really like, feel like I'm being pushed. It's good. No, this is good. This is all like,
I do this every now and then.
Yeah. Not your first rodeo.
But I think of Jay's kids, because Jay does it, and I watch his videos. His kids do it. So literally yesterday, I'm like, if these boys can do it, I can do it. Really, it's like they're amazing.
It's so funny because they're so different. One has a really tough time getting in, and is he does what you do, Erica. He goes to his knees and then jumps out, and and the other one just jumps right in down to his neck and doesn't want to get out. And it's so funny how everybody approaches it differently. And it's the fear thing, because once you kind of get past that, my experience is just, it's not even about the cold anymore. It's just the discomfort and just facing the fear head on. And it's not really uncomfortable after a certain amount of time.
Yeah. How old are they?
11 and 8.
Yeah, I do an uncle's week each year, because I try to give experiences instead of gifts. So I fly out my, last year my nephew came out, and that was our first thing. I'm like, all right, Aiden, you're going in an ice bath. So I heated it up a little bit so it wasn't as cold. Yeah. But I was expecting him to dip his toe. And no, he jumped right in, and I'm like, I was so surprised. And he did it for a minute and a half. I was so proud of him.
Yeah, I don't let them go past the minute and a half. That's the mark, And one of them is he could stay in for 10 minutes, and I'm just grabbing him and pulling him out.
Really? Oh my God.
I saw this one TikTok of this woman, and she did her ice plunge every day, but she had a 2 or 3 year old. So she just filled up a bucket of water with those white plastic balls that, kids jump in those pins of those bits of balls. And the daughter would do it with her mom. It wasn't a real ice bath, but it was cute, that just instilling those habits. And I don't know, I thought it was adorable. And, there's things that we should be instilling in our kids at an early age so that they know how to take care of themselves.
100%. So just sticking with that for a second, obviously studying and learning as much about that as possible. There's varying thoughts on the ideal amount of time and frequency and things of that nature. Can you tell us your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's the same thing. Like I was saying, if we compare this to working out, giving everyone the same workout routine, it's impossible. I think we train the body, we train the system. For me, it's really about watching the response and monitoring how we feel. If you're in the water and your body's calm and you start to shiver, that's a good physiological response of oh, this is the time that it's too much. Let's take you out. There's days that, depending on, and it varies so much, depends on how much body fat you have. That is if you're male versus female, your age, how much stress you're under. I have people who will come in and they'll be they always hit the 6 minute mark, and then they went out drinking, and the next day they come in, they're why am I shivering at 3 minutes? It's so frustrating. I'm like, because your body's already stressed. Like, this is your max today.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes I'll do it every day and I'm like, you know what, I'm just too tired, because it's a lot on the body. So I pull back. And I think just like you listen to your body with your workouts, listen to your body with these ice baths. And I think it's still not that it's been around forever, but like research hasn't caught up to it enough. I mean, according to like Huberman, he says 11 minutes a week, and you can divide it however you want. But I usually do 6 minutes every other day, and I've been doing that for 4 years, and I feel incredible. I do my blood work. I do every test, and I'm like, it's hard to tell. It's hard to give the world an average when there's so many factors. And I think as long as you feel good and it's a safe amount and you're looking to the body's response, then start small and grow. And it depends on the temperature of the water. Like if you're in a 50-degree tub or you're in a 32-degree tub, 33-degree, it changes. So no matter what it is, if it's like you're in a place or you're making it by yourself, just listen to your body's response.
I mean, I love that this is also like, I think Jay and I talk about this a lot of like intuition and following your intuition. I think a lot of us look to others for answers, right? We look outside ourselves. We look to ayahuasca ceremonies. We look to this, we look to that, versus like really trying to educate our kids, starting with our kids, and then also just educating us now. Like it's never too late to start to really hone in on like our own intuition. How do we feel? Like, instead of it's so powerful and it's so simple and it's so like, you would think common sense, but people do not follow their intuition about how they truly feel about a situation, about a person, about their health, about everything. And I think this is just such a good message. We need like classes on this. Literally, we need to be tested. And then, right. Yeah. I mean, something like this needs to like pivot and change in this world. Yeah.
And science changes every day. Like if I treated my patients with some of the things that I was taught in my textbooks, it would be bad. Like that's what we don't realize is we learn, and science is just a hypothesis, to only do what you've read in research or in a textbook. I'm like, half those textbooks are outdated. Like it doesn't, like we're learning things that make no sense. Like it's like anything you learn about the food pyramid. It's like, even in my undergrad, it was still the food pyramid. I'm like, this is wrong. Like so it's sad and it's scary, but it's really just the lack of education, and it's the lack of, people, like a lot of people only want to do what research shows. And I'm like, research can't show everything. And like you said, intuition and gut and like testing things out and knowing how you feel, I think are way more important. It's like, oh, it's not a double-blind study. It's not real. And it's like, well, tell me how you're going to do a double-blind study going into an ice bath or not going into ice bath, or getting an adjustment or not getting an adjustment, or getting cupping or not. I'm like, you can't. And everyone has an agenda. There's always biasm, and who's funding it? Why are they funding it? And it's just scary. It's like,
but great. I'm glad you brought all this up, because I think this is great for people to hear. Seriously, it's true.
It's hard, because I mean, like I'm a very science-based person, and I went into an alternative medicine space where, when I started my program, everyone was like, "Oh, these are fake doctors. This isn't real." I'm like, it's wild. It doesn't matter. Like even like sometimes now, like not as much, but the first couple of years I opened Remedy, like I would have interviews and get all these articles, and they wouldn't put doctor in front of my name, because even though it was a doctor of chiropractic, it wasn't a medical doctor. I'm like, well, do you want someone that studied medicine to tell you about ice baths, or you want someone to tell you that studied like the actual human body and the holistic side and self-care and preventative care? Because it's really interesting,
That is interesting.
Yeah.
So, well, through your good work with Remedy, you're introducing a lot of folks, to all of the things. And I think we mentioned the word community earlier, right? And just by like, if we spent time together, we would learn so much more about all these things from you and from each other. And when you're spending time with other people that are like-minded and sharing, what's working for them, and just kind of having those conversations and being surrounded by other people that are trying to live better and feel better, that is like, I think the most exciting thing, about kind of where I'm at in life, and, what you're doing and what you're offering to the world. And obviously my day job is really scaling companies in the healthy lifestyle space. And it begs the question, what's next for Remedy Place, because of course I can enjoy it in both New York City and in West Hollywood because I'm in both places frequently, and Eric is in LA and I'm in New York, and a lot of other folks would love to try it, I'm sure. So what are the future plans? Can you share some of that with us?
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, love the clubs, my goal, but it's not to create 100 clubs and like mass produce these all over the world. Like I want to do like 15 to 20 clubs, but the real mission of Remedy is just to build a platform. Like at the end of the day,
you're doing it.
But like when we're talking about all this stuff, like people now are more curious and they're asking more questions than ever. And when we're talking about those foundational pillars being free, I just want to be able to be like the one reliable source of education that anyone in the world can go, oh, I can go to Remedy's media page because anything they're going to say and teach me on how to take care of myself, and for me to learn how my body works and how to take care of it, that's the goal, because I think that's how we change healthcare, is by providing that free education. In the meantime, we're building out the media side to actually do that, and the education side to do that. But we're also entering the home space, also entering commercial spaces where, as we lead the industry by creating it and innovating it, I also want to supply it. So we're coming out with our own tech components, everything from an ice bath to hyperbaric to sauna hours that, if it's your home to a hotel to a country club or an amenity for a building, everyone needs this stuff. And the way I look at this is all of this is like the fitness industry before the fitness industry. Now there's a gym in every single building, every residence, every workspace. And it's like, yeah, but self-care probably could even maybe be more important because our bodies are stressed and we need regular care. So we definitely want to successfully launch that, and all the locations we can't be, we want to supply them. And then for luxury homes, we're doing Remedy rooms, which are basically mini remedies for your home. A lot of these luxury developers are building spas, but spas, you need staff. So this is all self-administered self-care. What else do we do?
Yeah, and then we're also smart.
Yeah. And then we are expanding. So we have our next handful picked out. We haven't publicly announced any of them except for Soho. So we're doing our third club that is set to open in January. But, construction is always interesting. So the goal is January, but we will see. But we actually just started framing walls, I think actually today. So, we'll be building the clubs.
I know confidentially, I know a few of the other locations from you. Yeah. I will not share. I've been sworn to secrecy.
All your favorite cities.
I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys.
It's just so exciting. It's so congratulations. And I mean, we're so grateful to you and to everybody that works with you and everybody else that's out there, spreading this message of self-care and longevity and preventative care. And, because that's what, and stress management and, all these things that is like the literally the foundation of a healthy, happy life, and just getting this to be more mainstream, this conversation. So we are very grateful to have you on. Yeah. Can you tell everybody where they can find you guys, or if they want to, get in touch?
Yeah, my personal Instagram is Dr. Jonathan Leary. So it's at DrJonathanLeary. And then Remedy Place is at Remedy Place. We just started posting some stuff on YouTube, but this will be accumulated on our new education page that should be coming out in the fall. So that will basically be self-care 101 and everything that you would ask your doctor, advice we give our patients. I mean, you name it, we'll hopefully have it. If we don't have it, let us know, and we're happy to do a video or whatever we need to do to educate you on it. But those will be our most frequently used platforms.
And remedyplace.com, because that's where I looked you up a long time ago, and I was just it's cool because it has a lot of information on everything that we were just talking, well, even more than what we were talking about, all the services. So it's cool I think it's cool for people to go on websites and check them out and literally get a little short blip about what is a hyperbaric, what is a ice bath, and get a little information. So that's cool.
Yeah. And I have to give you kudos on just the brand, and it's not surprising to me that you're going the media direction, because your communication is as good as I've seen. Your brand is absolutely, as good as it could possibly get. Everything is so just well thought out and executed, and
Thanks, man.
not everybody has the ability to do all those things, together as good as you are. So mad respect, my friend. Good job. Keep up the great work. Keep trailblazing.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
Thanks for joining us today. So happy
Of
we had you.
course. Thank you for the opportunity.